Welcome, guys, to the ATJ Sports Podcast. This is our second episode, emergency episode again because the playoffs are going on. Also, happy Brunson Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? I'm not tripping. Happy Brunson Wednesday to all who celebrate. I'm AJ,
I'm TJ.
feel me? And I want to start off because it happened yesterday, so we'll finish with the game tonight with the Knicks and Cavs. But we a lot of people already know my opinion on this series as a Knicks fan. So I'm gonna let you have the floor first with what you saw from last night and what you think about what happened.
I think uh I think that game plan is not very hard. I think Cat is I think he might be a little slow, honestly. Uh your bench pieces were actually the best players until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I don't know why they weren't playing more. Even Landry Shamet was the reason you guys tied the game.
Stud.
So still a best piece. Um yeah, I think Cat needs to relax. I think he needs to ride the pine a little bit to figure out what it's like to play good basketball. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson provides no offensive.
I was about to say the problem with that is Cat did play bad yesterday. Milton Robinson wasn't much better, man. Like
Yeah, but it's like, but Cat is just he thinks he's can do more than what he can do.
his stupid like fouls and stupid moments almost cost us the play where we're on the comeback. Like this is the point where obviously I thought we were gonna lose like when we were down 22, but like and we were coming back. I thought we were going to win the game up until the point where we're down like I think it was 8 and they're doubling Brunson at this point because he's frying them, so they're not letting him get a shot off. Then they swing. He swings at the OG. OG drives, and it's either you're going to make Jared Allen step up, and OG either is going to get a layup or he's going to dump it down the cat. Simple 2-on-1 basketball. We've been doing this since we were in preschool. Karl Anthony Towns pulled Jared Allen's arm in front of everybody and was complaining like it wasn't. It was the dumbest thing I've seen in my entire life. And I've watched Karl Anthony Towns for this my second year now, and that's by far the stupidest foul I've seen him have. By far.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't just grab his arm once; he actually grabbed it twice. Two different possessions, he did the same exact thing. Didn't learn his lesson. But you see, the thing that I noticed when Mitchell Robinson was on the floor was obviously he's not going to provide any offensive value. But those possessions, they were only getting one attempt at a shot every single time.
Mhm.
Late in the game, when you guys went down by 21, Cat was just he was trying to fight with him, and the ball goes up, and he's not focused on a rebound, so the ball just falls right back into their hands,
Right.
and they get three possessions in one. And I don't know how many points he had. I think he had like 10, 12.
Uh, wasn't a.
But
I don't think anyone did
but
much.
yeah, I mean, yeah, this was more on the Cavs losing the game that they had already won more than you guys playing a good basketball game.
Karl Anthony Towns had 13 points. He actually surprisingly had 13 rebounds. I didn't think he had that many rebounds last night, but
Yeah.
uh, I do want to say shout out to Mikal Bridges. I think he was clearly the second best player on our team yesterday since we made our last podcast and he was spotted crying in the locker room after scoring 0 points. I guess he must have listened to us or something because he's been going dumb. Like he's been frying teams. He's been playing great defense. Like here's my thing, man. As a professional NBA player, when Jalen Brunson's getting double teamed and you're being left open, it's not that hard to shoot open, shoot around. Like they're leaving you open, make the shot. The 1-3. I mean, basketball is a crazy sport, man. The 1-3 he made towards the end of the shot clock where he was fading away, and I was screaming at my TV saying, "What the hell?" But it went in, so everything was falling in. We had devil's magic at that point, which is the exact opposite. In game one last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks were up 20 points, or 21, sorry, on the Indiana Pacers with 6 minutes left. And as we know, Tyrese Halliburton shot a shot after they came down from 21 that hit the backboard, bounced damn near to the top of Madison Square Garden, landed back in the rim for a tie game, and then they dominated us in overtime, which we dominated the Cavs in overtime, which everyone figured we'd do at that point. There was just way too much momentum. But The Cavs, I thought the Cavs did a lot of really good things yesterday. I think a lot of what happened was on the Knicks. Obviously, having 7 days off is an adjustment. And when you're playing as hot as we were, I don't think we'll shoot the basketball that bad again in the first 3.5 quarters like we did. Like you could just tell we were slow and we weren't really ready to play, which makes sense when you have 7 days off and Cleveland just played 2 days ago. So, I mean, if you're Cleveland, that's a game you have to have. Like we're rested up, yes, but I mean, you could see OG Anunoby's. I don't even think we really need OG Anunoby at this point, especially with the way he played yesterday to win the series. If we make the finals, we're definitely gonna need him. But coming from a Knicks fan that had to experience what happened last year, I don't see much potential left for the Cavs for this to go probably beyond 6 games because the energy from that locker room is about to be so dead because they just had us beat at home to completely flip the series in game 1. So at that point, you could have just like said game 2, go out there and win. But if we lose, we lose. We still won at home. So now games 2 almost a must win because if you let a Knicks team who is playing very confident basketball. Has won like I think it's 8 in a row now or 7 in a row. If you let them walk in and win game 2 on their own floor, that you might turn into a Sixers situation where we're beating you in 4 to 5 games. Which, to be honest, I hope doesn't happen because I think the Spurs OKC series is most likely probably going to go 7. So I don't want any part of having another week off as we watch those two play each other just for us to get smoked in game 1. But uh you guys know how I feel about this man. I think Jalen Brunson is. It's hard to say he's better than Cade Cunningham at this point because it. I think he's a better scorer than Cade Cunningham. I think they're passing. I think Cade turns it over, but he's turns it over more. But I think he has less help than Jalen Brunson does. But Cade Cunningham's defense is just so much better than Jalen Brunson's for me to make that argument currently. Um, I think anyone that argues Donovan Mitchell is a better basketball player at this point in their careers has lost their mind. Jalen Brunson's 9-3 against Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs now. He's going to win his third series against them. It hasn't even been competitive. So I think anyone that can argue for Donovan Mitchell's lost their mind. We've seen what Brunson just did to Tyrese Maxey. Like every single guard that people say are better than him, he continues to decimate. And as a 19-year-old Knicks fan, I can't speak for all the Knicks fans because the 50s and 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds out there who have actually seen a ring. I'm not calling him the greatest Knick of all time because that's ridiculous. In my era of basketball, he's by far the greatest Knick of all time. And the only person who you could really have that conversation about is Carmelo Anthony. But Carmelo Anthony won 7 playoff games. Jalen Brunson's won 29, and he's been on the Knicks. This is his fourth year now. So the conversation for Carmelo Anthony kind of runs out. I mean, this dude came in New York. Shout out Julius Randle, who's playing awful, but or who was playing awful at this point. They're signing him. Came back. He came to the Knicks after the Mavs didn't want to offer him a new deal, which was Mark Cuban being special. Thank you, Mark Cuban, for not wanting to offer him any money. Came to us with his dad and has completely turned our franchise around from a team that was tanking for the first pick every year and never got the first round pick to a team that is going to be constantly a top 2 to 3 favorite in the Eastern Conference, probably for the next like 3 years at this point. Um, James Harden. Do you want to talk
Trash.
about
He's
James
awful.
Harden? Do you?
Yeah, yeah, he's awful. And you can tell it's just his age at this point. He's not explosive. He still has like the mindset that he once had, but he has not realized that when you grow with age, you have to adjust to like your new play style. And he just has not done such. He's still trying to shoot a step back three. He's still trying to do his mid range little where he's backing people down in the mid range and shoot in front of him. He still has his floater, but that's about all he's got. Like he's got no first step anymore. He's got no like just craft to his bag anymore, and his shot's not falling. So
I
he has nothing left that can save him.
he had some shots in the last 4 minutes of that game where he was the I think we're at the point where you know what you're getting from James Harden. Like we James Harden showed us back in 2012 when they made the finals against the Miami Heat what kind of basketball player he was. He's been the same since, and he's had a couple good playoff games, but when it gets to game 6 and game 7, like he got saved by the fact that Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley were so good in the last series that because he again didn't show up in game 6 and 7. Um, He's just someone who doesn't perform well in the playoffs. It's like, I'm sitting here watching the game last night with my dad. My dad's like, he's like actually a cancer for these teams. I was like, he really is. Like he at some point, if you're Kenny Atkinson, You have to get him off the floor because if you know he's not providing you much offensive value, and you know that Jalen Brunson, I think, scored 18 points in the fourth quarter last night. So he scored 23 on James Harden alone. Why James Harden is the one that's guarding Jalen Brunson, why Jalen Brunson wasn't getting double teamed majority of the game last night, I don't know. That's a coaching problem that's my guess is that's probably going to change going into game two. But what he does offensively, I think he's good for the bigs because as you've seen Jared Allen's play since his playmaking is still there, but he's just not the same level of shot maker or athlete that he used to be. He still draws fouls at a pretty high level, which I'll give him credit to that for. I don't necessarily like it. There were some flops he had, but Brunson got to the line a lot last night, so I can't really complain about foul calls. Another thing that really shocked me about last night's game is you could say a lot of things about Donovan Mitchell, like when he's playing basketball. Like you could say he either had a bad game, he had a good game, his shot wasn't falling. Like one thing you usually never say about him is if you know Donovan Mitchell, he's gonna get his shots up. That's what he does. Last night,
Premium shot checker.
last night, once it hit the 8 minute mark and we went on that run, mind you, he had 29 points at this time. Was just sitting in the corner and watching the basketball game for the entirety of the last 8 minutes, knowing he's the best player on his team. Like I put a lot of fault. One, I put it on the coach because the coach, his post game interview, the coach was like Kenny Atkinson said, he was like, I wanted to save all my timeouts. He was like, because I'm big on saving timeouts. I was like, buddy, like you were up 22 points, and we went on like a 18-1 run. At some point, you have to call more than one timeout. Like what are you saving them for? Because he didn't use them at the end of the game either when we were tied. He just kept the timeouts. He had like two of them in his hand and didn't use it not one time, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous. But yeah, like what did you see from Donovan Mitchell in the fourth quarter last night and the coach saving his timeouts like an idiot?
I had actually said to Hank before the game, I said, yeah, I just have this feeling Donovan Mitchell's going to drop like 40. And he was way on pace to do such until he decided that, okay, I'm just cool. The game's over. I mean, if he literally just makes one more shot in the fourth quarter, they win the game. But instead, he goes 1 for 6 when it mattered, minus 27 on the floor and 14 minutes of basketball. So I mean, that's no assists, no steals, no blocks, just missing shots left and right.
I
Um,
like
and like when I earlier in the game, literally throughout the entire game, Dean Wade was the guy that was chasing Brunson around,
yeah.
and because I mean, he was much bigger than him, and he was just bullying him really.
Mhm.
I mean, and he was clearly struggling, but then I guess coaches lose their head in the fourth quarter. Uh, Clearly they do because I mean you let Brunson put up 9 shots, made 7 of them in the fourth quarter alone. Like certain things you cannot let Jalen Brunson beat you. It's I mean
The
you can't allow it to happen.
I just don't understand as an opposing coach. Like we now have 5 years because on the Mavericks he was frying the teams he was playing too. You have 5 years of watching Jalen Brunson. He has the most 35-point games in the past 2 years. Like he's the highest leading scorer in the NBA playoffs. I think he's second right now. In the past 4 years, he's like the highest. He's had multiple 40-point games. He's touching 39 and 38 3 times already this year. I don't understand the game plan. Like what if I was a coach, there's one guy you're not letting beat us, and it's quite if they would have just double teamed Brunson damn near the entire game yesterday. Josh Hart had a Cleveland Cavs jersey on that entire game yesterday. Cat Cat, who's been playing great all playoffs, was terrible yesterday. And if you literally just made anybody else but Brunson beat you in that, which they did, but by the time they decided with like 2 minutes left to finally start, you after he made that tween step back three right in James Harden's face, and you called a timeout. That should have been your signal that this dude gets no more one-on-ones and he's not allowed to score again. He came right out the timeout and got another free easy bucket. Like what were you talking about in the huddle for him to get an open look? That's terrible. I don't know what, but if we're talking about coaching, Mike Brown in the fourth quarter, you outdid yourself, buddy. But I was ready to restart the fire chance in the first 3 quarters because the defense we were playing was so dumb and atrocious that we were just leaving Sam Merrill and Dean Wade, two of their best 3-point shooters who are catch and shoot guys, wide open. I understand if you're leaving a guy, we'll live with Evan Mobley. If Evan Mobley continues to knock him down, you can live. You can't live with white dudes sitting in the corner wide open who are catch and shoot players who are going to make the shot uncontested. Like these are and we didn't need to double. What are we trying to go double James Harden for off the screen? Karl Anthony Towns isn't going to be able to get back and recover on defense. That's just going to give up a free bucket. And when you're playing Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride at the same time, like Deuce McBride's a heck of a defender. Like at the end of the day, he's still 6'2". So you could play the best defense possible. Like Brunson is nowhere near the level of defender Deuce McBride is, but they both try. Sometimes they just get scored on because they're 6'2". Like there's not much you can do. Dudes in the NBA are going to shoot over you. That happens. It was the coaching we were doing in the first three quarters. You could tell we definitely in the first three quarters went back to Brunson ball. We got the ball out of Cat's hands and it was just Brunson go save us. I mean, he took 30 shots last night, which the type of basketball player Jalen Brunson is. Um, he led us to a victory doing it. And shout out to Mikal Bridges. My biggest adjustment for game two, if I'm the New York Knicks, is we've been talking about it. Knicks fans have been going crazy about it for 2 years now. Josh Hart can't start anymore. Like his minutes got to be cut damn near in half. If he can't shoot the basketball and they can just structure Jarrett Allen in the paint, that leaves Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns with really nowhere to go when they want to use those moves. So I still think he should play a solid amount of minutes because he does a lot of good pushing the pace and rebounding, and he's so far this playoffs he's been a good defender. Last night he was awful. I don't know why we have him on Donovan Mitchell. It was ridiculous. It was dumb. It should be Mikal Bridges for the rest of the series because as you've seen, Mikal Bridges when he switched on to him in the last 8 minutes did a really good job because we didn't trade 5 first round picks for Mikal Bridges to sit and guard Sam Merrill in the corner. That's not what we traded him for. We traded him to play full court defense and pick up, which is what he did in the 8 minute mark and when we started to go on that run. So again, shout out to Mikal Bridges. I can't hype him up enough for the way he's been playing. Um, but enough of that. Do you still have us winning the series? I'm assuming. How many games do you think it's going at this point?
It should be no less than five, honestly, bro. I mean,
I
you guys should gentlemen sweep them. Now, if you guys obviously you won't shoot that bad again, but I can't see you guys going back to the 50 to 60%
Yeah,
you
no, no,
guys.
no. We're not gonna like there were definitely outlier games in that Philly series. Like the
Right. I mean, when you know a team simply cannot fuck with you at all, I mean, you're going to do exactly all you can do,
right.
and that as you guys should. I mean,
I
you
think
guys do a good job of beating the teams you're supposed to beat.
right. I think we're gonna reach that point with the Cavs now, especially after yesterday, where we just played the worst basketball game we've probably played in 2 months and came out victorious. I don't think we have any respect for this team, not even in the slightest. I don't think we should have any respect to this team. I think the Cavs have a couple good players. I don't think their roster top to bottom is good enough. I think they need to go get themselves back in the LeBron James business this offseason, as I think the Knicks will be too if he's willing to take a minimum, like the reports are being structured. But I think we win in 5 games too. I think they'll get one in Cleveland just because it's the Eastern Conference Finals. But I wouldn't mind if it went six, because that would mean less time off. So that wouldn't be the worst outcome in the world. Actually, oh yeah, well, they have the finals dates out already. It starts in like the second week of June, I believe. But enough of that, because that's really the boring series outside the 22 comeback. We'll get to the series, the Thunder and Spurs, who play tonight. Who do you have winning tonight first?
The Thunder.
Yeah,
I think they'll cover the spread too.
I think the Thunder are gonna win tonight too. I don't have. I mean, we gotta talk about game one first. Game one is one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long time. But I'll let you talk on that first.
First off, just like to say you haven't played well in the playoffs, given you haven't been needed to. But tonight they need you bad, buddy. So yeah, this jersey is going to be on for sure. Um, yeah, but in that series, not in that series, just in that game particularly. First off, it's a simple yes, Wemby is elite, 7'5". You should be elite, especially when you can move the way you do. So there should be no answer for you on the floor. Now, given the best answer possible is not Alex Caruso, let's can we like stop with that? It actually it makes me very angry. For obvious reasons, but it's just like it's literally just common sense, bro. I understand Chet is not gonna stop him. Okay, nobody is, but Alex Caruso definitely is not. Is he going to get a couple poke
It's
steals here and there? Sure, whatever. But
I'll tell you what the problem is. It's OKC's coach thinking he's smarter than he is really because here's the problem. Is last year in the conference finals, they stuck Alex Caruso on Nikola Jokic. It worked and they think they figured out some magical potion. Wemby's not Jokic. They're not the same caliber of athlete. Wemby can move his feet. Wemby's quick. Wemby can shoots the three ball better. Like this is not the same basketball player. You have a guy, Chet Holmgren, who's supposedly a top 3 to 5 defensive player in the world. You can't have him just sitting around doing nothing. You're just wasting him. Like, especially Chet Holmgren. Please fight for your manlyhood tonight. Please. Like, do something. This man has done nothing but call you out and abuse you every single time you play a basketball game. It's getting disrespectful at a.
I'd rather see him punch him, bro. I would rather see Chet punch him. But it's like the best way to stop Wemby, as we see him with Rudy Gobert, is to be physical with him. If you're physical with him from the jump, bro, they're not going to call the fouls. I promise you.
Right.
If you're grabbing him, if you're manning him at the 3 point line, they're not going to call the foul on you, Chet. Just do it.
I like the game. Shea, it's hard for him right now because I think, especially in game one, like I said, the biggest issue with this Thunder team, and I think the Thunder and the Spurs almost have the same issue. That's why I'm starting to look forward, not look forward, but like feel a little more confident about the Knicks going into the finals, had more hope than I did, is both of these teams can struggle shooting the ball. Like OKC's floor spacers are not very good. Lou Dort's becoming damn near unplayable right now. AJ Mitchell has been playing great, but respectfully, I think there's maybe 100 dudes in the league that can go fry Austin Reeves for 25 minutes. I don't think that's very. I don't think it's too impressive. I think he was obviously still good. Chet Holmgren was playing out of his mind against the Lakers too, but again, like you're not playing DeAndre Ayton anymore. Like they got to play the Phoenix Suns, and then they got to play the Los Angeles Lakers, who they had really close games with outside of like. I think they had two blowout games, but the games were close until like the final like 5 minutes where they started blowing them out and you could see the holes in the team. At the end of the day, if Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's not scoring 30, it's a problem for that team. Which he, to his credit, I mean, he doesn't average 20 in the regular season. He averages what, 30, something like 32, 31. So he does. But the way he's been playing in the playoffs, like you can give him grace because they're playing the Lakers and they're going to win with or without Shea on the floor in 4 games. They didn't even need Shea to win that series at all. They are going to beat that team with or without him because the Lakers aren't there yet as a basketball team. They need Shea to be the MVP of the league when you're playing against the Spurs. They have too many wings. Also, I think De'Aaron Fox coming back tonight might hurt the Spurs a little bit because
Bro, 1,000%. He doesn't. No, yeah, 1,000%.
they're not going to have being able the Spurs' biggest advantage is that again, it's what they had for the Wolves and it's why I like the Wolves match up against the Thunder too cuz like we're moving into a new era of the NBA where you have to have these long, tall, athletic guards or wings like the Spurs being able to send Vassell, Dylan Harper, who's been outstanding for a 20-year-old basketball player, has been absolutely unreal, and Stephon Castle, being able to send those three at him, and then you have Wemby sitting in the paint because there's no threat to shoot the ball. It's really bad matchup for the Thunder. I don't know how they get out of it. Obviously, Shea's gonna have to play a lot better basketball, but
The
it's a
thing is, the thing with them is it's going to have to come down to them making the looks that they're given because I mean you're going to everybody, especially Shea driving so much, he's going to struggle with them because they have this big tall guy in the paint, so you can't go in there.
yeah.
And then you have the lengthy wings that they have, the lengthy guards they have. So any guard that against them is going to struggle.
Yeah.
But it's just going to come down to one when Wemby is not in your face, you have to make the shot. Like you have to make your open looks that you get, which I do think I do think that that's going to change tonight. That's why I think the Thunder cover the spread tonight. But
I think
and Wemby, there should be some sort of adjustment. You can't let him go for 41 again.
I think there's got to be some kind of adjustment, but at this point, like I don't know if Chet Holmgren wants any part of Wemby. Like he looks scared, he looks intimidated by
Very scared.
like whatever Wemby's got going on, which I understand because Wemby, as we've seen, like anytime the reporters ask him a question about Chet Holmgren, like he gets pissed at the interview, like because Chet's really the only guy that you can compare to Wemby at his size and the skill set. And obviously, we're not done. It's not a comparison. Like Chet's a very good basketball player. He's not Victor Wembanyama. So like Victor Wembanyama, that's what he's trying to say to people. And every time he plays Chet Holmgren, he's been busting his ass all season. In my personal opinion, I think it's been incredible to watch because I think we need more of that in basketball. I think we have too many people like Shea who not that they don't want to bust people's ass, but they're like nonchalant about it and not obviously like he cares, but when you listen to the way he talks, like it's another day at the office for him. Wemby's gonna talk his talk, he's gonna back it up, and then he's gonna let everyone else around know about it because that's the kind of competitor that he is at the end of the day. I love it. I don't know the matchup that they have for him. Like if Chet's not doing it, I don't know who is. I think they might have to send double teams at him. At some point, you have to live with Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper shooting the basketball. I think you definitely obviously have to live with Stephon Castle shooting it. You can't let Devin Vassell shoot it. But and when Carter Bryant gets on the floor too, like you have to live with these guys shooting the basketball and you have to load up on Wemby. Because if he goes for 40 and 20 and then has 3 to 5 blocks, you're letting him have too much momentum in the game where he's never getting out of a rhythm because he's automatically in a rhythm just by what he does on the defensive end. Because there's not a single person on that Oklahoma City team not named Shea that scares anybody on the offensive end. J Dub, though, J Dub finally looked healthy again the other night, getting back to what he was in the playoffs last year. That would be huge for Oklahoma City if he can continue to play like that because Alex Caruso is not scoring 30 points again. That's not happening.
But if the thing is, if they're gonna let, because now it's in the Spurs' mind, it's like, okay, are we gonna let Alex Caruso shoot open threes again? Because now he has confidence. Which, if they elect not to, now it's gonna open up more space for the people that can actually score the ball to score the ball. So that's why they're in a tough spot, even with a win, which is like they're fine because they got the win. But adjustment wise, they're in a tough spot because it's like, what adjustment do we make to play better basketball? Whereas the Thunder just lost, they know what adjustments to make.
Yeah, my another big thing is like I think it's pretty obvious that having a week off doesn't help teams. Like you seen the Thunder came back from the I think they were down like maybe 15 or something. They were down a hefty amount, came back, sent it into double overtime. We were down 22, sent it into overtime. So the two teams that have been decimating everyone these playoffs and got a week off both came out and looked really flat. So like I think they'll play a much I expect Shea to have a much better basketball game today. I don't think it can get much worse at this point
Yeah.
because at the type of basketball player he is, he's too talented to go out there and shoot 30% again. I do think Wemby being Wemby is a problem for him. And I think I like when Lou Dort's on the floor, it makes it so much easier to guard because you're willing to let Lou Dort shoot the ball. And he hasn't been shooting the ball well at all to the point where you can just leave him and say, screw it. Like, we don't need to guard Lou Dort. We got to focus on Shea. But the problem that happened in game 1 is that when old buddy, so for those that don't know, I would call myself a Shea hater. Okay. I'm not, I
I would call
obviously
AJ a Shea hater. He would call himself a Shea hater. Everybody would call him a Shea hater.
I don't dislike Shea the person. Okay, just so we get that clear. I think he's a very skilled basketball player, right? I will not argue that. The way he plays the game of basketball, and not even just him, the whole entire Thunder in general, it is a terrible watch. They Shea gets to do whatever he wants. He foul baits, he flails his arms. I made a video about it earlier. It's terrible to watch. No one enjoys watching it. Everyone complains about it. And then the Thunder get to play like football players on the other side of the court. That's my only problem. If they were calling fouls both ways or they weren't calling fouls both ways, that is what it is. And for the people out there that keep talking to me about true shooting percentage, just because they want to make James Harden and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander make it seem like they're better basketball players than they actually are, I do not care about a shooting percentage that adds free throws into the mix. I'm not counting your free throws as real buckets because you're flailing your arms when someone sniffs you. Stop talking about true shooting for the love of God. Anyways, did he win back-to-back MVPs? Yes. I think some people value different things, right? I value defense a lot than my best player of the world rankings. After what I seen last night, I've already been saying it. I think Giannis is the best player in the world. Okay, to my defense, I didn't think he played this year, but when he did play, he was awesome. Okay, I think Victor Wembanyama at this point is the clear best. Where are you at on that, may I ask? Because he's been as Shea's the best player in the world for some time now.
No, no. I think that Shea is the most talented player.
Fair.
Now, given your circumstances being taller than literally everybody in the league, but you move the way you do, there's no reason you should not be the best player in the world. Now, what makes somebody the best player in the world is consistency. And what Wemby does not have in the regular season is not consistency. He also hasn't had in the playoffs this year,
He also doesn't play a lot of minutes.
right? Because he's injured. So it's
He
like
he I think this year he played like maybe 24 minutes a game. I want to say like
29.2. But
yeah,
like
that's
the
not
thing, the playoffs, bro, it's like game one, 11. He had an awful game one in that Timberwolves series, right?
yeah.
19 the next game, serviceable, and then you drop her 39. But it's just like it just fluctuates, which is why his highs are obviously higher than Shea's right now because of like when he does it, it looks so freakish.
My
But then again, it's like if I'm watching Alex Caruso try and guard him, bro, I don't expect anything
third you
less.
yeah, right. My biggest problem comparing the two is that Shea, I think Shea's a good quality defender. I don't think he's the defender that people try and make him because if you watch the Thunder games, majority of the time, if he's not getting called into the action because people want to hunt him, he's sitting in the corner because he has Cam Wallace and Caruso and J Dub and Chet on his team and Lou Dort. So he doesn't need to play defense. He can save it all up for. So my thing is when Shea's shooting 30% and he's turning the ball. Now, credit, he did have 12 assists the other night, so he was playmaking, but he also had a lot of turnovers on part of that because playmaking is not really the biggest area of his game. So they probably like him to play make more than they want him to shoot the ball. When he is not shooting well on offense, his value compared to Wemby not playing offense is because think I think it's unfair to say Wemby is the best. Like he obviously is the best defensive player in the NBA because of how tall he is. I love getting credit to Asar Thompson because Asar is not 7'6", so he's just really good at defense because he's really good at defense. Like he doesn't need 7'6".
That's the thing. That's like Wemby's game last night. People that did not watch the game see the 41. What we saw, I mean, I can show. I'm just gonna flip the camera right here on his shot chart. Outside of he made that 1 3, buddy. He's doing exactly what any big man his size should do. The
Right.
Blues are makes.
Right.
Go to the paint. It's not hard.
What I really like that though because if you watch the Timberwolves series and some of the Portland series, I know they have Donning and Klingon. Like sometimes he just plays around with his food.
Yeah,
Like like
he plays like he's a guard.
right, he shoots too many threes. He settles. Now some of that's because he's tired sometimes. But that was was that the only three he made the other days when he pulled up the
Yes,
game. That's
that
how
was
it
the
should
second one. Right, that was the
be.
second one he attempted.
The his dominant play in not even in the post because he doesn't really like driving wise, and he's got a really good mid range game. That should lead to his 3-point game. He shouldn't just be chucking up threes because he feels like it and because he can. You're 7'6". You don't need to be shooting threes. There's no one that can guard you. Now
Right.
the biggest problem for him is that like when he is playing Rudy Gobert, I don't think there's a strength physicality answer for him on the like Rudy Gobert is so physically strong that I understand it a little bit. You don't want to go into him, but like there's no answer for OKC because Chet's not the strongest guy. Like he's built like a toothpick, just like Wemby is. So I mean,
Yeah, so that's why I don't really include him in the best player in the world conversations because of when he's not playing Chet Holmgren, it's like he's iffy. He could go up there and obviously drop 40 because he should be the best player in this perimeter right here. But I mean, you can't blame the guy. I mean, he's had this injury history already, so he's playing himself safe, and now he's going out all out. So, um, but yeah, he has beyond the potential to be the best player ever. Especially, definitely, he's easily the most freakish player we've seen.
So that's what I want to I'm going to talk about this for a second. So here was what we need to do as a collective society, okay? For all of my young people out there, like ages from 30 spanning to like I'd say 13. That's when you can start understanding basketball more than the average people. Um, let's not be like the old Michael Jordan fans, okay? Like we are allowed to glaze LeBron, but we can credit other people without discrediting other people, okay? Victor Wembanyama in 2 to 3 years, okay, if he stays healthy, is probably going to be the best basketball player I've laid my eyes on. Okay. He's going to be the best defender in the league, possibly the best defender we've ever seen. He can shoot the three ball, he can dribble, he can pass, he makes free throws, he gets to the rim when he decides he wants to go to the rim, and he's 7'6". And he's agile. He moves at 7'6". Almost like there are some times out there where at 7'6" he looks like a point guard. So am I saying now? Give it credit. He's 7'6". He's already has injury history. If I can get 10 years of Victor Wembanyama, that's all I want. Okay, maybe 10 more years because there is no way in the world I think he plays more than like 15 years of that. I think that's impossible for someone who's built like him to play that long. So he's not going to have the career statistics that LeBron has, and he's not even going to come close. But like when it comes to peak, like when they were at their best, I think at a certain point, if Wemby stays healthy, obviously that's a big if. I think it's going to be hard for us to make an argument about what we're seeing out of him because I mean he's 22 right now, and the stuff he's doing I've never seen before in my life. Floor, it makes it so much easier to guard because you're willing to let Lou Dort shoot the ball, and he hasn't been shooting the ball well at all, to the point where you can just leave him and say screw it. Like we don't need to guard Lou Dort. We got to focus on Shea. But the problem that happened in game one is that when old buddy, so for those that don't know, I would call myself a Shea hater. Okay, I'm not. I
I would call AJ a Shea hater. He would call himself a Shea hater. Everybody would call him a Shea hater.
I don't dislike Shea the person. Okay, just so we get that clear. I think he's a very skilled basketball player. Right, I will not argue that. The way he plays the game of basketball, and not even just him, the whole entire Thunder in general, it is a terrible watch. They Shea gets to do whatever he wants. He foul baits, he flails his arms. I made a video about it earlier. It's terrible to watch. No one enjoys watching it. Everyone complains about it. And then the Thunder get to play like football players on the other side of the court. That's my only problem. If they were calling fouls both ways or they weren't calling fouls both ways, that is what it is. And for the people out there that keep talking to me about true shooting percentage, just because they want to make James Harden and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander make it seem like they're better basketball players than they actually are, I do not care about a shooting percentage that adds free throws into the mix. I'm not counting your free throws as real buckets because you're flailing your arms when someone sniffs you. Stop talking about true shooting for the love of God. Anyways, did he win back-to-back MVPs? Yes. I think some people value different things, right? I value defense a lot than my best player of the world rankings. After what I seen last night, I've already been saying it. I think Giannis is the best player in the world. Okay, to my defense, I didn't think he played this year, but when he did play, he was awesome. Okay, I think Victor Wembanyama at this point is the clear best. Where are you at on that, may I ask? Because he's been as Shea's the best player in the world for some time now.
No, no. I think that Shea is the most talented player.
Fair.
Now, given your circumstances being taller than literally everybody in the league, but you move the way you do, there's no reason you should not be the best player in the world. Now, what makes somebody the best player in the world is consistency. And what Wemby does not have in the regular season is not consistency. He also hasn't had in the playoffs this year,
He also doesn't play a lot of minutes.
right? Because he's injured. So it's
He,
like
he I think this year he played like maybe 24 minutes a game, I want to say. Like
29.2. But
yeah,
like
that's
the
not
thing in the playoffs, bro, it's like game one, 11. He had an awful game one in that Timberwolves series, right?
yeah.
19 the next game, serviceable, and then you drop her 39. But it's just like it just fluctuates, which is why I his highs are obviously higher than Shea's right now because of like when he does it, it looks so freakish.
My
But then again, it's like I if I'm watching Alex Caruso try and guard him, bro, I don't expect anything
third, you
less.
yeah, right. My biggest problem comparing the two is that Shea, I think Shea's a good quality defender. I don't think he's the defender that people try and make him because if you watch the Thunder games, majority of the time, if he's not getting called into the action because people want to hunt him, he's sitting in the corner because he has Cam Wallace and Caruso and J Dub and Chet on his team and Lou Dort. So he doesn't need to play defense. He can save it all up for. So my thing is when Shea's shooting 30% and he's turning the ball. Now, credit, he did have 12 assists the other night, so he was playmaking, but he also had a lot of turnovers on part of that because playmaking is not really the biggest area of his game. So they probably like him to play make more than they want him to shoot the ball. When he is not shooting well on offense, his value compared to Wemby not playing offense is because think I think it's unfair to say Wemby is the best. Like he obviously is the best defensive player in the NBA because of how tall he is. I love getting credit to Asar Thompson because Asar is not 7'6", so he's just really good at defense because he's really good at defense. Like he doesn't need 7'6".
That's the thing. That's like Wemby's game last night. People that did not watch the game see the 41. What we saw, I mean, I can show. I'm just gonna flip the camera right here on his shot chart. Outside of he made that 1 3, buddy. He's doing exactly what any big man his size should do. The
Right.
Blues are makes.
Right.
Go to the paint. It's not hard.
What I really like that though because if you watch the Timberwolves series and some of the Portland series, I know they have Donovan Clingan. Like sometimes he just plays around with his food.
Yeah,
Like like
he plays like he's a guard.
right, he shoots too many threes. He settled. Now some of that's because he's tired sometimes. But that was one of was that the only three he made the other days when he pulled up to the
Yes,
game. That's
that
how
was
it
the
should
second one. Right, that was the second one he attempted.
the his dominant play in not even in the post because he doesn't really like driving wise. And he's got a really good mid-range game. That should lead to his three-point game. He shouldn't just be chucking up threes because he feels like it and because he can. You're 7'6". You don't need to be shooting threes. There's no one that can guard you. Now
Right.
the biggest problem for him is that like when he is playing Rudy Gobert, I don't think there's a strength physicality answer for him on the like Rudy Gobert is so physically strong that I understand it a little bit. You don't want to go into him, but like there's no answer for OKC because Chet's not the strongest guy. Like he's built like a toothpick just like Wemby is. So, I mean,
Yeah, so that's why I don't really include him in the best player in the world conversations because of when he's not playing Chet Holmgren, it's like he's iffy. He could go up there and obviously drop 40 because he should be the best player in this perimeter right here. But I mean, you can't blame the guy. I mean, he's had this injury history already, so he's playing himself safe, and now he's going out all out. So, um, but yeah, he has beyond the potential to be the best player ever. Especially, definitely, he's easily the most freakish player we've seen.
so that's what I want to I'm going to talk about this for a second. So here was what we need to do as a collective society, okay? For all of my young people out there, like ages from 30 spanning to like I'd say 13. That's when you can start understanding basketball more than the average people. Um, let's not be like the old Michael Jordan fans, okay? Like we are allowed to glaze LeBron, but we can credit other people without discrediting other people, okay? Victor Wembanyama in 2 to 3 years, okay, if he stays healthy, is probably going to be the best basketball player I've laid my eyes on. Okay, he's going to be the best defender in the league, possibly the best defender we've ever seen. He can shoot the three ball. He can dribble. He can pass. He makes free throws. He gets to the rim when he decides he wants to go to the rim, and he's 7'6", and he's agile. He moves at 7'6", almost like he's. There are some times out there where at 7'6" he looks like a point guard. So am I saying now? Give it credit. He's 7'6". He's already has injury history. If I can get 10 years of Victor Wembanyama, that's all I want. Okay, maybe 10 more years because there is no way in the world I think he plays more than like 15 years of that. I think that's impossible for someone who's built like him to play that long. So he's not going to have the career statistics that LeBron has, and he's not even going to come close. But like when it comes to peak, like when they were at their best, I think at a certain point, if Wemby stays healthy, obviously that's a big if. I think it's going to be hard for us to make an argument about what we're seeing out of him because I mean he's 22 right now, and the stuff he's doing I've never seen before in my life.
Dick is so hard.
Like he had
Oh,
40 he had
asshole.
40
You're a dumbass. What you are? I'm a fucking asshole, aren't
he
I?
had 40 he had 41 and 22. Uh,
Good thing AJ knows how to edit. Ain't I right, my boy? Ain't I
but
right?
yeah, I got it.
Oh, you're good.
Um,
Sorry. I didn't know you were doing this. Let me get out.
just I just really think I think he's the best. Now, also, I'll willingly admit I'm a Nikola Jokic hater. I hate Nikola Jokic's fan base. I don't like him. I think he's bad for the game of basketball, the way he acts with the game of basketball. Um, I think the people this past week that Nikola Jokic fans who have been celebrating Shea's downfall because he has been playing well for the past week, like you were playing at a great level when you were on the basketball court, okay, are being ridiculous because both of these two, which I've been saying is why I don't like calling either of these two the best player in the world. It's because they are great regular season basketball players. Statistically, their entire team as an offense goes from here to here. Them as players, shooting wise, goes from here to here. I the way they play in the which it makes sense you're going to be harder in the playoffs, but you see guys like Kawhi Leonard, like Jalen Brunson, like Dame Lillard did it a couple times, but recently he's been rough. Like Tyrese Halliburton, who take their game from here levels and they get to the playoffs and they bring it up here. And then you see the best players in the world bring it from here and bring it down to like right here. I just hate that, me personally. I can't stand it. That's why I'm so big on Jalen Brunson. Obviously, he's the best player on my team, so I'm gonna be big on him. But the way he plays in the playoffs, I have no reason to be big on him. I've said it. I will take regular season into account a little, yes, but the way you play in the playoffs matters to me. Giannis Antetokounmpo won a ring with the Milwaukee Bucks while being the best defensive player in the world because he won MVP, he won DPOY. Giannis got screwed out of two other MVPs because they got voter fatigue and wanted to hand some to Nikola Jokic, while Giannis was averaging 30, 10, and winning DPOY, and Jokic had 10 assists because Jokic is a center dribbling the ball. We need to stop having these things where it's cool. Hey, as a center, if you can dribble the ball and you can pass it, that's cool. I'm not giving you credit because you can dribble the ball and pass it when you play the center position. Be a center. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, and I was just looking back at because I was looking at the Spurs on Rio and the Thunder on Rio. Like Shea is averaging 28.6 playoffs, and the issue has been field goal percentages in the games where he hasn't done good. I remember that Spurs game, both the Spurs games back to back, or sorry, the Suns game back to back. He dropped 37 and
I mean,
42.
there was a game he played again. Like this is where I talk about his talent. There was a game against the Suns where he didn't miss a shot until like the third quarter.
Yeah, he shot 15 for 18.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it's just like, and he's not. It's not going to happen again against the Spurs because they're going to play way better defense than the Suns are.
right.
But it's going to have to pick up because even looking at his the game the other night, it was 7 for 23, and it was just a streaky. Like the fourth quarter was just bad percentage wise, but he got his points and they won the fourth quarter at that point. But that's the thing. It's like when it comes down to the last 4 minutes of the game, your best player has to make the shots, and that's what he did. It's just that in overtime it just did not happen because they couldn't even keep the ball in overtime. But
It was just
getting mauled. He got one shot off in 5 minutes, and it was a step back three with the shot clock going down.
And like I said, I'm not here to argue that he is not a very, very, very talented basketball player. Like we'll get into more talks in the offseason, where I rank him as a scorer when we have nothing else to talk about besides baseball. So we'll just randomly start ranking things that have no business being ranked, but because we're bored and need something to talk about. Um, his though he's very talented at basketball. It's just that I hate watching him shoot 11 and 12 free throws per game because you've seen against the Spurs in game 1 at halftime he had like two free throws and he was shooting 16%. So when he is not getting to the line against better teams, he is struggling. My also critique on him is that he plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder, where if you took Shea off this team, they'd probably be the second best team in the West and they might have a top four record in the NBA with Shea on this basketball team. Do I think they need him to win a championship? Yes, because they need someone who can create their own shot because their roster is constructed for him to be that guy, not really besides J Dub, depending on what JW you see. And AJ Mitchell is really good. That someone is going to pick him up. I pray to God someone picks him up that needs a point guard. I feel like he'd be good in Detroit. But he's going to be a Jalen Brunson situation once one team decides that they want to pay him a serious contract. I I just don't like the way he plays the game. His free throws piss me off. But my problem with his free throws is that I know he's talented enough to the point where he doesn't need those free throws. That's what frustrates me because when you see the 50-year-olds who all talk about Michael Jordan and Clay all the time, like, oh, well, the foul. People in the 90s and 80s shot more free throws per game than we did currently. So it's a ridiculous statement. I just watching the Thunder play is miserable. But who do you have coming out the series now at this point?
I still have the Thunder just because they played an awful game of basketball and it still came down to this 7'5" dude making a 30-foot three in transition because Chet Holmgren's laying on the ground. I just think that it's easier, not easier. Yes, yeah. It's easier for the Thunder to play a bad game and win versus the Spurs cannot play a bad game and win. They had to have their best player go for 41 and 24 rebounds.
Right.
So like it's just one is sustainable and can get better. One is like the peak, and they obviously they were on the road, but I don't think that San Antonio's home court advantage is comparable to what the Thunder have going on.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is still questionable for tonight. At this point, with them already winning game 1, I doubt he plays. But honestly, if I was the Thunder, I'd probably want De'Aaron Fox suiting up and playing. Now, there was a stat that I seen the other day where Shea in game 1s plays really bad, like historically, and then for the rest of the series, he starts to turn it up a notch every other game he plays. Um, so, like again, like I said earlier, I think it just comes down to rust. Like I think the game you seen them play the other day isn't going to be the game. When you look at it a lot for San Antonio, like I said about Dylan Harper, this dude, like that's why I'm scared if the Spurs do win this series against the Thunder. The only thing I've said about the Spurs that really scares me is obviously Wemby. Knicks fans outside Madison Square Garden last night were chanting "We want Wemby." I'm not a part of that crew. I do want the Spurs to win. I don't want Wemby. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to partake in anything. I don't know how we're gonna score on him, especially if Cat can't score on Jared Allen. But that's gonna be a problem.
But the good thing with you guys is you guys could dominate them with the bench, bro, because they got nothing. They have
They have Keldon, and that's like as far as it gets. It's Keldon, and then
I ain't talking guards and forwards. I'm talking bigs. They got nothing.
no, they play Luke Cornett. Yeah, Wemby's not playing 40 minutes against us. We're
No,
too big and physical for that.
hell no. Ellie, and that's why I think that you got. That's why I said that. I know for a fact that you hope the Spurs win, not just because you'd rather watch the Spurs play basketball, but because you guys can match better with Wemby and with the Spurs team rather than the Thunder guards guarding your guards. It's like
If
matchup wise for you guys would match. You already beat the Spurs, so I mean,
yeah, we beat them twice.
yeah. So
We spanked them one time in there. When they won like 17 games in a row. Came to Madison Square Garden, we spanked them. So Brunson had like 40 that game. Um, if the Knicks weren't currently in playoffs, I'd definitely be rooting for the Spurs because I think it's better basketball to watch. But here's the problem with the Thunder though, is like especially the way they shoot the ball. With the way we're playing right now, I don't think obviously like we're not going to keep shooting 60%. That's unrealistic. Um, like for the Thunder to beat us this year, it took Chet Holmgren having like a 30 piece and Lou Dort making a bunch of threes. Like I think Alex Caruso, if we have to live with Chet Holmgren going for 30, and I also think we played them without J-Dub though. So that but we're just gonna stick OG and Anunoby on him and call it a day. So we're not really worried too much about that. Um when it
But then
comes
that's just one wasted defender off the point guard there.
when it comes to when it comes to the Spurs matchup with us, the person who dominated the Spurs, obviously he doesn't ever really put up like shocking like point numbers. So you're gonna look at his stats and be like, oh, what are you talking about dominate? Mitchell Robinson against Victor Wembanyama is one of the only mismatches he's gonna have in the league because that dude is so damn big and strong. When so what they do, right, is when we're playing Josh Hart, they use Wemby as a hub. So they can sit him in the paint and they can let Wemby go out and contest whatever he wants. And we know Brunson likes to get to his mid-range shots. So when Brunson misses a mid-range shot and Wemby's out there contesting it, there is nobody in that paint that can stop Mitchell Robinson from getting a rebound. And even when Wemby's in the paint, Mitchell Robinson is pushing him like 15 feet back because that is Wemby's biggest problem is that when he goes against like the dudes like the Jokic's and the Giannis's and like Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, the only reason he didn't have a struggle, like Rudy Gobert put his shoulder into him a couple times and had open layups. He's just one of the worst offensive players I've ever seen in my entire life, where the dude has no move. That like this is why I was flaming Nikola Jokic the way I was, because you're letting Rudy Gobert scoring you. It's embarrassing, and Wemby showed that like this dude can't score the ball. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I only have. If you want to touch on this, you could touch on this, but this is going to be the last thing I talk about, and then we got to go watch game two.
Hold on, real quick. The game you guys played the Thunder twice this year. They beat you by 11 at home, where Shea had 30 and J Dub had 22. The game you guys lost to them by 3 at home, and they were without AJ Mitchell and J Dub, and Chet dropped 28. Shea had 26, and then that's it. Everybody else should.
But
Hartenstein had 0.
what
Where's Chet at?
was
Oh, Chet. Yeah, Chet 28.
was that the game in was that the game that was at Oklahoma City?
No, that was the game in New York.
Yeah, that
Brunson.
the game we had in Oklahoma City, we were getting beat the entire game, and Brunson was the only one on the Knicks.
He ended up at 32, but real late. You guys just it looks like Bridges shot the ball way too much. That's because Brunson couldn't make a shot. Cat played very good. He had 17 and 17. Didn't foul out. Oh, never mind. Yes, he did. I was about to say he didn't foul out, but yes, he did. Uh, OG 6 for 17. Josh Hart 4 for 11. Shemet played the best. Yeah, so
I
you
I
guys were without Robinson and McBride. So
is the fact that which Robinson would be a big help against them, but the and McBride because he plays a lot of minutes for us now too, but not as big as some of the pieces they are missing. For Landry Shamet, this is really impressive out of him. For him to be playing 0 minutes in the start of the Atlanta Hawks series, completely out of a rotation, and then to come in a close game against Philly, shoot the lights out and defend very well, and then be in our rotation since, and come in last night and literally not play really any significant minutes until the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left when we had to bench Josh Hart and do what he did last night was incredible. Like it's a really big. Now he's a pro. Like he's been in this situation multiple times where he gets kicked out the rotation and all that. But to like mentally stay locked in as you're getting kicked out the rotation and you keep getting brought in, and to be ready for the moment in an Eastern Conference Finals game at Madison Square Garden, which is literally probably the loudest stadium you could play in. That I mean that's unreal from him to be able to do something like that.
and when I watched that shot go down, and then I watched Merrill's shot go out, I've said it with our baseball team right now. In order to get far in sports, you first off you have to have some magic, bro. And you guys had some weird magic last night. So and it's not
Indiana Pacers devil magic, man. I'm gonna be trying to tell you.
yeah. So you either have to be the best team, yeah. Yeah, you have to be either the best team in the world by far, or you have to be the luckiest team in the moment. And I've seen it with us.
NBA championship is a lot of luck because you have to go through the whole entire thing and win 16 games without getting injured. with playing a lot more than 16 games. You're playing like 30 to 35 games, and you have to stay healthy. And then obviously, like the Pacers did last year, you got to have some devil's magic on your side, man.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. Now, if you're a team like the Spurs and the Thunder who are just clearing out better than everybody, then you don't really need that devil's magic.
Oh,
But like even the Thunder last year had some devil's magic on their side because Tyrese Halliburton all of a sudden gets a calf injury, misses like game 5, decides to thug it out for game 7. And when he's already got like 12 points in a matter of 6 minutes, after making a step back three, comes down and pops his Achilles after he might have went for a 40 ball, and we could be having different conversations about Tyrese Halliburton and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now if they didn't win that ring. But we live in a world where Tyrese did pop it. The Indiana Pacers, you guys tanked for. Oh, do you want to talk about the draft lottery? I forgot that happened. If you want to get anything off on that,
so difficult, bro. Because oh, because half these teams ain't even gonna have their pick, bro. These
but
dudes there's about to be so many random. There's just so many random trades.
the Clippers, the Clippers got billed at 5. So Indiana, I feel who am I lying? I don't feel bad for Indiana fans. Period. I don't. You guys don't deserve happiness, as far as I'm concerned. Um, Indiana traded a first round pick, and it had to be they had it protected anywhere between 5 through 9. So the Clippers, if it was literally 5 through 9, the Clippers got that pick. If it was 1 through 4 or 10 through 30, the Pacers would have got their first round pick after tanking all year and basically saying this is a gap year. But the pick landed at 5. The Indiana Pacers are incredibly unlucky. I feel bad for them. I'm lying. I don't feel bad for you guys at all. Stop tanking. And also you've done enough to my city and my basketball team. So you don't deserve happiness, like I said. So now they traded Zubats for the 5th pick in the draft, which I'm assuming I don't even know what the Clippers need. Like,
But first off, they need a big man. Niederhauser is good. He's solid. Not good. He's solid. But
he's got a lot of room to go though.
you got Brooke Lopez, and you can't have a Brooke Lopez and then Niederhauser as your two bigs.
Well, the biggest question is, do they trade? I mean, we'll get into this in Austin.
Yes, Kawhi's gone. Yes.
I'll say they probably got to trade Kawhi Leonard at some point. So and build around Garland and Mathurin. I mean, Benedict Mathurin, Darius Garland, and a top 5 pick doesn't sound too awful. Like they'll probably be a bottom playoff team. It's their fault for being in the West. But we'll talk about more about the draft when it comes in. The 2 things before we go, or 3 things that I want to mention, is one, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Stop saying you want to come to the Eastern Conference. Okay, it's not sweet over here. 2, um,
It might be sweet.
college
It might be sweet, bro.
college basketball players. R.J. Lewis, the guy that played for St. John's, played 3 years for him, had 1 more year of eligibility. Signed a document foregoing his eligibility in college basketball to play in the NBA. Everyone in the league knew that he was going to be a late second round pick. So he gave up millions of dollars to play college basketball at Kentucky and decided to go to the NBA where he's no longer on a basketball team. Stop letting people that have been in the NBA on your college basketball teams because they made the wrong decision. That is not our fault. That is their fault. Okay? I don't want to see it. Now, keep in mind, RJ Lewis is not going to be allowed to play for LSU this year. But the fact that Will Wade continues to try and bring in these dudes because he can't get any actual college basketball players to come play for his school, stop. Okay? NCAA needs to do something. This is college basketball meant for like 19 to 24-year-olds. We're not inviting these dudes who've already played pro basketball to play college basketball. They are called pros. These are semi-pros. These are college athletes. They're not. Are some of the college players better than RJ Lewis? I could probably name you 10 dudes off the top of my head who are better than RJ Lewis right now. But that's not the point. The dude's been, I mean, not really in the NBA because he got cut, so obviously he wasn't good enough. But
Signed an undrafted two-way contract and never made it
he
onto the roster.
he should have just went back to college. Stop giving these dudes second chances for making a dumb decision. That is their fault. Go play overseas basketball. So that's really all I got to talk about. Um, School is over for us now, so more podcast episodes should be coming soon pretty frequently. But
I
I,
got a World Series to go win.
I was about to say, you want to talk about the baseball team real quick? Shout out to the fellas.
Yep, got nothing to say. We just gotta go handle some business. Hopefully in East Lake, Ohio, win a World Series.
Right.
Go
So,
Paul.
Salisbury, where I used to go to school at this point. TJ currently goes there. How many games have you guys won in a row now?
16?
16 wins in a row. How many teams are left now? 16, right?
16.
16 wins in a row, 16 teams left. The boys are hot. So I'll probably be reposting them on the social media page if they continue to win because they're doing a great job and keep it up. The fellas are hot. Now, thank you guys for tuning in. This got a lot off our chest, and we will be seeing you guys soon.